If you see this before the 16th of July, then understand it is not by coincidence. Life has placed this moment in front of you for a reason. Something within you is ready to awaken. You may not feel it yet, but deep down, a shift has already begun. You are standing at the edge of transformation. And the only thing that remains is the step forward. Change does not come with fanfare. It comes in silence, in stillness. It comes when the mind becomes quiet enough to hear the truth it has been avoiding. The truth that you are more than your fears, more than your doubts, more than your past. Look at your life. Everything that has brought you to this point has shaped you, but it does not define you. What defines you is what you choose to do now. You may have carried pain, regret, guilt, but all of it can become fuel. Let it burn away your limitations. Let it purify your purpose. Discipline is the bridge. If you want to change, it will not come from wishing. It will come from doing, from standing up when you want to lie down, from breathing through discomfort instead of escaping it, from mastering the mind that tells you to stop when the soul is begging you to continue. Before the 16th of July, this is your message. Wake up, train your body, train your mind, breathe with awareness, walk with intention, set with clarity, live with honor. The path you are about to walk is not easy, but it is meaningful. It is the path of the one who chooses to grow. Do not wait for the perfect time. That time is now. Do not wait for permission. You are the only one who can give it. This is your opportunity. This is your calling. Not in noise, but in stillness. Not outside, but within. Step forward and become who you were always meant to be. You're here, reading these words, and it's not by accident. It may seem like just another moment, just another message, but if you truly pay attention, you will feel the deeper pulse behind it. Life doesn't speak in loud voices or flashing lights. It whispers, and if you're quiet enough, if you're present enough, you begin to realize that some moments are not coincidences, they are calls. This is one of them. To see this message before the 16th of July is to be presented with a gate, a symbolic threshold, not a date marked by the calendar, but a signal to the soul that the time has come. The time to stop living on autopilot. The time to stop delaying the changes you know are needed. The time to recognize that something within you is stirring, ready to break through the shell of old patterns. So many people move through life, waiting for a sign, for confirmation that their path is about to open, that their efforts are not in vain. They wait for perfect timing, for circumstances to align. But rarely do they realize that the sign isn't something external. It's a moment of inner alignment, a moment where your awareness sharpens and your spirit stirs. This is that moment. The message itself is the sign. You didn't stumble upon this, you arrived. That knowing you feel, even if faint, is your deeper self responding. It's not logical, it's not loud, it's quiet, but steady. It's the awareness that your life is shifting, the direction you've been walking in, the choices you've been making, the thoughts you've been repeating. They've led you to a place of decision. You're standing at a crossroad, whether you fully see it or not. And this time, the direction you take will not just affect a small corner of your life, it will echo across every part of who you are becoming. When you start to become aware of these moments, you realize how rare and powerful they are. This is not just about inspiration, this is about transformation. And transformation doesn't come when it's convenient, it comes when it's necessary. If you're seeing this now, then something in your life is ready to break open. Maybe it's your discipline, maybe it's your purpose, maybe it's the version of yourself that you've been avoiding out of fear. But here's the truth. If you see this message and feel something stir, even if it's small, it means you're ready. You may not feel strong, you may not feel prepared, but readiness doesn't always feel comfortable. Sometimes it feels like unease, sometimes it feels like resistance, but beneath that resistance is energy, energy waiting to be directed with purpose. Now what you do next is everything. You don't need more signs. You've received one. The question is, what are you going to do with it? If you ignore this moment, life will go on. You'll return to your habits, your routine, the noise of distraction. The voice within will quiet again, but not because it's gone, only because it wasn't answered. But if you honor this moment, if you breathe, reflect and listen, you will find that it opens something. It may not happen overnight, but a path will begin to reveal itself, and each step you take, however small, will carry more weight, more clarity, more power than any step before it, because it's a step taken in awareness, in alignment, in truth. No more waiting, no more hesitating, no more pretending you don't feel the pull. This is the moment. This is the beginning. Let it move you. Let it awaken you. Let it remind you that nothing is random when the soul is ready. Step forward. Change is often misunderstood. People expect it to come with excitement, with a grand event, or some dramatic turning point. But the truth is, real change doesn't make noise. It doesn't rush in and announce itself. It slips in quietly, almost unnoticed, like the moment between night and dawn. Subtle, but certain. It begins where the outside world grows still, and the inner world starts to speak. Most of the time we're moving so fast, doing so much, filling every space with distraction. Our phones, our habits, our constant need for stimulation. In that noise there is no room to hear, no room to feel, and certainly no room to grow. This is why change often feels so far away. It's not that it's not possible. It's that we are too loud within ourselves to notice it knocking. The beginning of transformation is silence, not just the absence of sound, but the stillness that allows truth to rise. When the mind slows down, when the breath deepens, when the body sits with awareness, that is when something begins to shift. And this is not easy, because silence will show you things you've buried, things you've ignored. In silence, you meet yourself honestly. That meeting is not always gentle, but it is necessary. The fears you've hidden behind busy routines, the doubts you've masked with smiles, the pain you've buried under ambition, it all surfaces in silence, and in that space, you are faced with a choice. Will you turn away from what you see, or will you stay long enough to understand it, to learn from it, and to use it? If you're ready for change, then you must be ready to sit in that silence, to face the discomfort that comes with truth, because only truth leads to freedom. Everything else is just illusion, and you've lived long enough in illusions, illusions of control, of perfection, of security, but none of those things bring peace. Peace comes when you no longer run from yourself, and when you stop running, you start hearing, not with your ears, but with your awareness. You begin to hear the voice, beneath the noise, the voice that says, you were made for more, not more in the way the world tells you, more success, more applause, more things, but more presence, more depth, more life. That's the kind of change that begins in silence, the kind that doesn't just improve your life, it redefines it, because when your inner world is in order, your outer world begins to reflect that order. When your thoughts are clean, your actions follow with strength. When your heart is open, your discipline sharpens. And when your purpose is clear, your path, no matter how difficult, becomes walkable. But don't mistake silence for passivity. This is not about doing nothing. This is about doing the inner work that most people avoid. It is about becoming still enough to observe your thoughts, to question your impulses, to detach from false identities. It is about watching yourself from a distance, so that you can choose how to move instead of being moved by every emotion or reaction. This takes strength, and it takes time, but more than anything, it takes courage. The courage to pause, the courage to be with your thoughts, without needing to escape them, the courage to hold space for your own growth, even when no one else sees it happening. Because the most powerful transformations happen long before the world notices. They happen in the early hours of the morning, when you choose to rise and train. They happen in the quiet moments, when you sit with your breath, instead of your fault. They happen when you catch your mind drifting toward negativity and gently bring it back to focus. This is the discipline that silence teaches you. And from that discipline comes clarity. And from that clarity comes strength. And from that strength, your life begins to change, not in sudden bursts, but in steady, irreversible motion. So if you're wondering when change will come, understand this: it has already begun. The moment you turned down the volume of the world and started listening within, the process was set in motion. Stay with it. Stay in the silence. Let it teach you. Let it sharpen you. Let it prepare you for everything that's coming next. This is how real change begins. What you carry from the past, your mistakes, your regrets, your pain, it all holds weight, but that weight is not fixed. You can choose to carry it as a burden, or you can shape it into a tool. Too many people believe they are bound to the stories of their past, as if what they've been through is a permanent definition of who they are. But the truth is, your past is not a sentence. It is a lesson. It is a thought. And right now, you are being called to stop identifying with what broke you, and start identifying with what you are building. Every experience you've had, every struggle you faced, every moment you thought you couldn't go on and still did, that wasn't the end of you. That was the shaping of you. The pain wasn't there to stop you. It was there to expose what needed to be healed. The failures weren't there to define your worth. They were there to reveal the places where growth was needed. If you're carrying shame, guilt, or sorrow from something in your past, then let this be the moment you stop letting it own you. That pain can become your strength, but only if you face it directly. You are not your past. You are the awareness that is observing it. You are the presence that is choosing what to do with it. And that choice is powerful, because in every moment you are either reacting to the past, or you are creating the future, but you cannot do both at once. Too often, people let the weight of what's been done keep them from stepping into what could be. They play small, because someone told them they weren't good enough. They hold back because of a failure that still echoes in their memory. They convince themselves that certain dreams are not possible, not because they aren't, but because somewhere along the line, they started believing that they weren't worthy of trying again. But the only meaning the past holds is the meaning you give it now. You can look at it with shame, or you can look at it with gratitude. Gratitude that it showed you your weaknesses. Gratitude that it humbled your ego. Gratitude that it taught you how to get up, because that's where real strength is born, in the getting up, in the choosing, again and again, to move forward even when your mind reminds you of who you used to be. Let the old version of you rest. You don't owe it your loyalty. That version of you did the best it could with what it knew, with what it had, but you are no longer that person. You have grown. You've seen more. You feel deeper. You understand what matters. And if the past tries to call you back into old habits, remind yourself, you're not here to repeat cycles. You're here to break them. This is why your awareness matters so much. Without awareness, you fall back into patterns unconsciously, but with awareness you choose. You observe the emotion without becoming it. You notice the old story without reading it again. And in that space between the thought and the reaction, your power is waiting. You can use what hurt you to hurt yourself again, or you can use it to heal, to focus, to discipline your body, and sharpen your mind. The very things you thought would destroy you can become the reasons you rise early, train hard, and stay centered when life challenges you again, because life will test you again, but this time, you won't be the same. You won't fall apart when things go wrong. You won't abandon yourself when doubt whispers. You'll remember that every challenge you faced has prepared you for this. There's a quiet strength in those who know their past, but are not chained to it. They walk with humility, but they move with conviction. They know that their story is not finished, and neither is yours. This is the part where you stop letting old wounds decide what comes next. This is the part where you rewrite what those memories mean. Let your past be fuel. Let it burn through excuses. Let it power your breath, your movement, your clarity. You've carried it long enough. Now let it carry you forward. What matters now is not what happened before. What matters is who you choose to become from it. Ask ChatGPT. If you truly want to change, you must understand something very simple, yet often forgotten.
It will not come from hoping. It will not come from waiting, wishing or wondering. Change does not happen by accident. It is created by action, by consistency, and above all, by discipline. And discipline is not something you are born with. It is something you build, brick by brick, breath by breath. The mind will always search for comfort. It will always whisper reasons to stop. You're tired. You've done enough. You can do it later. These are not your truth. They are habits, conditioned thoughts, trying to protect you from discomfort. But discomfort is the gate. On the other side of that gate is growth, and only discipline can walk you through it. People often think discipline is about force, about pushing through pain with aggression. But real discipline is not loud. It is calm. It is the quiet decision to show up, even when you don't feel like it. It's choosing structure over chaos, breathing through resistance, rather than running from it. Discipline is the thread that weaves together thought and action. Without it, intention remains nothing more than a dream. You say you want to grow. You say you want to change your life. Then the question is, can you show up for yourself even when no one is watching? Can you stay committed when the excitement is gone, and only repetition remains? That's where change is born, not in the rare moments of inspiration, but in the daily rituals you choose when no one is applauding. The person you want to become is already within you, but that version of you is hidden behind layers of resistance. Discipline is the tool that clears the path, not overnight, not easily, but steadily. It's waking up and training even when you'd rather stay in bed. It's keeping your word when it's easier to break it. It's doing the hard thing, not once, but again and again, until it becomes who you are. And discipline is not limited to the body. It's also how you train the mind. Can you guide your thoughts when they try to spiral? Can you return to focus when distractions pull at your attention? Can you respond with awareness instead of reacting with emotion? That too is discipline. Mental stillness in the middle of noise. Without discipline, motivation fades. Emotion is fleeting. You may feel powerful one day and powerless the next, but discipline doesn't care how you feel. It only asks, will you move anyway? When you train this way, your life stops being controlled by how you feel in the moment. You stop being a slave to your mood and become a master of your movement. This is what builds self-respect, because every time you do what you said you would do, you send a message to yourself. I am capable, I am dependable, I am focused. And eventually that becomes who you are. The confidence you seek isn't found in results, it's found in repeated integrity. When you become the kind of person who follows through, your life begins to align with your vision. Understand, the greatest battles are not fought against the world, they're fought in your own mind. Discipline is how you win those battles. It's not about being perfect. You will slip, you will fall, but the disciplined don't stay down. They don't waste time drowning in guilt. They breathe, they reflect, and they return. That's the difference, not in falling, but in returning stronger each time. This is how the shift happens. You stop relying on feeling. You start relying on structure. You stop chasing comfort. You start choosing challenge. And with each disciplined action, the gap between who you are and who you want to be begins to close, slowly, but certainly. So if you're waiting for the right moment, it's not coming. If you're looking for motivation, it will pass. But if you commit to discipline, you won't need perfect conditions. You will create the conditions, and your life will begin to reshape itself around your consistency. What's waiting for you is not out of reach, but it is on the other side of effort. Discipline is the bridge. Start walking. Awareness is not something mystical or distant. It's your most practical and powerful tool. It is the foundation of every real transformation. Without awareness, you are moving, but you are asleep. You are doing, but you are disconnected. And when you are disconnected, your actions have no weight, no meaning, no alignment. You drift, even when you think you're progressing. But when awareness enters, the drifting stops. You begin to live on purpose. Everything you do, from how you breathe, to how you move, to how you speak, can either pull you deeper into clarity, or further into confusion. Most people live reactively. They don't pause to observe. They don't notice their pattern. Their thoughts pull them in one direction. their emotions pull them in another, and they wonder why they feel lost. The answer is simple: they are not awake, they are not aware. If you want to live with strength, with clarity, with meaning, you must become deeply aware of yourself. This means learning to observe, rather than blindly react. You must learn to sit with your emotions, without drowning in them, to hear your thoughts, without believing everyone, to feel discomfort, and stay present, instead of escaping into distraction. Your breath is the first doorway. Most people don't notice how they breathe, shallow, rapid, disconnected, but your breath is not just air, it's energy, it's rhythm, it's presence. When you become aware of your breath, you return to the body, you return to now, and in that presence, you stop being controlled by the past, or worried about the future. You become clear, centered, steady. That same awareness applies to how you move. Don't train your body like it's a machine. Move with attention, with respect. Each movement is a message. Are you moving with purpose, or with distraction? Are you aligning your body with discipline, or are you rushing through, hoping to get it over with? How you move reflects how you live. When you move with awareness, you build not just strength, but intention. You transform the act of training into a form of meditation, and then comes speech. Words are not just sounds, they are energy. They can uplift, or destroy, clarify or confuse, guide or mislead. Most people speak without thinking, respond without listening, and fill silence out of discomfort. But when you become aware of your speech, you start choosing words with precision. You don't need to speak more, you need to speak with presence. And sometimes, silence is the most powerful expression of clarity. Living with awareness does not mean controlling every detail. It means being fully with what you are doing, whether it's training, walking, breathing, or sitting. It's about being there, not somewhere else in your mind. This is what brings depth. It turns routine into ritual. It turns discipline into a form of art. And when awareness becomes your way of being, your life becomes focused. You stop scattering your energy and start directing it with intention. Without awareness, discipline becomes mechanical. You might show up, but your mind is elsewhere. You check the boxes, but you miss the meaning. But when awareness joins discipline, it sharpens everything. Your breath becomes your anchor, your steps become grounded, your actions become aligned with who you want to become. There is no wasted motion, no wasted thought. This is what gives you power, not control over others, but control over yourself. Because, when you are aware, you notice when you begin to drift, and you return. You notice when the ego starts speaking, and you quiet it. You notice when fear creeps in, and you breathe through it. That kind of power does not shout. It does not need to be seen. It is calm, quiet, and deeply rooted. The world around you will try to pull your awareness in every direction. Noise, distractions, opinions, demands. But your task is to return, again and again, to what is real. Your breath, your body, your intention, your path. This return, this constant bringing back of attention, is the practice. And over time, it becomes who you are. You will not always get it right. Your mind will wander. You will forget. That's natural. But the moment you remember, that is the moment you grow. Every time you return to awareness, you strengthen your focus, your clarity, your presence. This is not just a way to train. This is a way to live.